Class number 9 of the Azon Masterclass series is all about the advertising. In today's class, we're going to be learning about getting set up with Amazon. We're also going to be learning about the product pages that are going to be on these Amazon sites. And then we're going to learn how to use my Amazon WordPress plugin called Product Style to actually set up these ads and get them live on the website. Once you go through today's training and you have all of your product pages created on your website and you're signed up with Amazon and you create the Amazon affiliate ads for your site should be completely finished after you complete this portion of the training. Everything else beyond today's class is going to be more focused on helping you to drive some extra traffic to your sites and also teaching you about long-term maintenance, just things that you need to keep an eye on with these websites over time. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and dive into today's training. Now, the first thing I want to briefly talk to you about, I don't want to spend too horribly much time on this portion of the training because it's ultimately just a small portion of this whole thing, getting into and accepted for the Amazon Associates program. If you are already an approved affiliate, you don't really have to worry about this part of the training. If you have never done anything with Amazon before in terms of creating an affiliate site for them, you're going to need to sign up to Amazon as an affiliate. You do this at affiliate-program.amazon.com. You'll land on the page here that you see on my screen. You just want to go to the Join Now for Free link. Go down here to create an Amazon account, assuming you don't have one already, and then just provide in the information. And once you get past this portion, which unfortunately I can't really show you, I don't want to create a duplicate account and have there be any kind of issues with that with my pre-existing account. However, I do have some screenshots of what you can expect through this application process available in the guidebook for today's class. Once you progress through this initial information here, you're going to have some more information that you're going to need to provide to Amazon. They ask you a number of questions about what your intentions are with using the Amazon Associates program on your website. They also want to know the actual website that you are going to be using these ads on. Now, even though this is a really short and simple process, it's more recently become a lot more important. If you are not already an Amazon affiliate, once you apply, you'll get instant access to your affiliate ID, which you can use to manually create some of your own advertisements. However, until you're actually a completely approved Amazon affiliate, they're not going to give you access to their API program. And you ultimately need API keys to be able to use the Amazon plugin that I provide to create these ads. So if you do not have an approved Amazon account already, you're not going to be able to use this plugin right away. You're going to have to manually create Amazon ads to put on this website. Now, this is really just something fairly new that Amazon has started doing. They're requiring you to refer 3 sales before they will really take a look at your account, take a look at your website, and decide whether or not they're going to approve you. Assuming that you build them a high quality website that puts the majority of its focus on high quality content and actually providing information to people that will be useful to them, and not overloading the site with too many Amazon ads either. Those are the ones that are most likely to be getting approved nowadays. Now, if for some reason you go through this process and you refer 3 sales to them and you still don't get approved, they'll usually tell you why and give you another opportunity to apply again. But they make you refer 3 more sales before they'll take another look at your account. So it's really not something that you want to have to go through more than one time. So the easiest way to avoid that is to just put as much of a focus as you can on creating a high quality website. Your website should make sense and ultimately be able to exist without having these Amazon ads. So if you take away the Amazon ads and the site really wouldn't make a lot of sense or be very useful anymore, you are probably going to be lacking that content that Amazon is really looking for to approve you. Now, with that said, once you can get an approved Amazon affiliate account, or if you have an old account, you're not going to have to worry about this. This is only something that they're doing for brand new affiliates now. Once you are able to get your API keys, you'll be able to use them with the plugin that I will be demonstrating to you today. However, I also want to show you what you can do if you don't have API keys yet and you need to manually create these ads. So those 2 parts are going to be the main focus for the remainder of this class. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about, because I haven't gone over this in any kind of in-depth detail so far during this course, involves the actual pages on your website, the articles on your site that are going to have these Amazon ads on them. Now, for this site that I'm building, that I've been going through this entire series so far, I have a number of different kinds of products that I'm going to be promoting on this site. And ultimately, each individual item is going to be its own standalone page that I will put on my website. So I want to show you how I go from just having this idea of promoting a particular product or a particular brand within a type of product, turning this into an article, and then finally connecting an Amazon ad up with it. So I'm going to do one of these radiation detectors for this particular class today. And this is the product that I have selected out of really all of the different kinds of radiation detectors that are available, or at least the ones that are found on Amazon and popular on Amazon. This brand is actually one of the cheapest most affordable ones that can be found. So that will be obviously a focus of my article, but I need to learn a little bit more about this product ultimately to be able to really be able to write a decent article about it. Now, sometimes you'll have information up at the top here, just under the product listing. For mine, it's only showing this specifications table with fairly basic information. None of this is really going to be helpful to me um, for this particular article. I'm looking more for useful information. When somebody's looking at my site, what can I tell them about this product? What is unique or different about this product that isn't commonly found with other similar types of products? One of the obvious things with this product is definitely going to be the price, because a lot of them are $100, $200, $300, and this one's only 30 bucks. So that right there will be one of the big selling points. We also have just basic information about the product. Down in this product description area, you can often find this more detailed information. It'll kind of teach you about the product, the main features of the product, maybe even how to use the product. It just kind of depends, because each vendor controls this listing for their product that they sell. So sometimes you'll get a lot of really great information here, and other times you'll find sometimes absolutely nothing. When you can't find the information that you need here, though, there are a few different places that you can go to get it. You can start searching on Google, try to find this product somewhere else, and just use general information about the product. You can also sometimes find information down in the customer Q&A or in the customer reviews. Personally, I like the Q&A section quite a bit, because if somebody is asking a question about a product on Amazon that I'm thinking about trying to promote, there's a pretty good chance that somebody else interested in that same type of product will probably have the same question. And so obviously on the Amazon website, they could easily find that information. But what if they're searching on Google to try to find information about a specific product? When you can cover that type of content within your article, then you can potentially rank for those searches that they make on Google. As an example, right here, this person wants to know what's the difference between this $30 one and other ones that are $300 or more. So this is mentioning it's all about the frequency that it's measuring. And ultimately, other kinds of radiation, cell phone radiation, that radio frequency is in a range that's not compatible. So that's probably going to be one of the biggest differences between the expensive models and the cheaper ones, is just what they can ultimately detect, how sensitive they might be to detecting various things. So this is all going to be important stuff to people that are considering buying this product. I'm trying to scan through here, looking. There's another post here about the frequencies. I'm curious if it doesn't pick up radiation from microwaves, TVs, routers, cell phones, things of that nature. What does it pick up then? Now, ultimately, I don't know if this is exactly going to be what I am looking for here. I'm looking, obviously, to give people a way to test radiation levels. But if this isn't really designed for that particular purpose, it looks like it's mainly just an electromagnetic field meter. And this might not actually be, even though it's calling it a radiation detector, this might not really be what I'm looking for here. So sometimes at a first glance, I might think that a product will be a good one to promote. Once I actually get into it and start learning a little more about the product, if I find out, like this one here, that it might not be a good fit for what my website is actually going to be about, then I simply need to change it. I need to find a different product. I switch this brand out and just replace it with another brand or another product that I can find. So it kind of looks like more of what I'm looking for is not these EMF meters, but just an actual professional Geiger counter. I'm going to check out some of these other brands here. These are other brands that I have already selected. GQ, Radex, and Images SI are actually the other three brands that I have picked out. So it looks like these are definitely more along what I was looking for. It looks like maybe just one of my 4 radiation detectors possibly wasn't a good fit. So I'll just switch that out with a different brand and a different product later on. I'm going to go and take a look at one of these other products now. This one's one of the more expensive ones. It looks like it detects a wide variety of different kinds of radiation. It really looks a little more appropriate for what I'm trying to do here. So I definitely think this is a good one to pursue. So I will work on this page for this particular class. So what I'm looking to do in the beginning is learn a little bit about this product and then translate that information into an article. You definitely don't want to copy the information. You want to be phrasing this in your own words. And if you're dealing with a product like this where you're going to have a lot of confusing aspects of it for the average person, like most people aren't going to know, what these different things mean, the resolutions and the counts and things like that. So if I want to tell people about this kind of information in my article, I want to learn what this is and tell people in an easy to understand way in my article. That way I don't end up with the same exact terminology and everything that would make my article look like a copy of the Amazon article. So I want my own unique perspective on this product. And part of that can also be with the brand itself. Now I'm taking a look at Google here, and I'm doing some searches for this company that actually makes and sells this particular Geiger counter. Going off of the Amazon website like this is a really good idea, in my opinion, because you're going to run upon information that you simply won't find on the Amazon website. A couple of examples of that here. Number one, just the website itself for this company. I can try to learn a little bit about the company. I don't really see like an about page or anything like that that's going to teach me a whole bunch about it, but I can see that it's based in Staten Island, New York, at least. Other than that, it doesn't look like. Oh, here's an About Us page. There we go. I found a little bit of basic information about this company, but this is the kind of thing that I'm looking for. So now, instead of just telling people about this Geiger counter and giving them just some basic information about it, I can also give them some information about the actual company that makes this thing. This helps with people that are considering buying the product, because knowing a little bit about the company you're going to buy something from, especially if you're going to spend a fairly hefty price tag like this product is asking for, people want to know, who they're doing business with. What is this company, Images SI Inc.? Well, now I can tell them a little bit about it. It's based in Staten Island, New York. It's been around since 1982. They solely focus on the science hobbyist market. And, now they're making a wide range of different kinds of Geiger counters, in addition to all sorts of other things that ultimately won't really be relevant to what my website is about. So my focus on talking about this company will be mostly based just around their Geiger counters. And then I also have specific pages on this website where I can learn more about these products potentially. So here we go. I have found the actual product now that I am trying to promote on Amazon. And the information that they provide here and in a number of these different tabs, this is honestly a lot more information than I was able to find about this product on the Amazon website. So by using a combination of the information here, the information from Amazon, the information about the company itself, I should be able to put together a decent little 500-word article. So I'm going to start with the actual company. Now on Amazon, they're called Images SI Inc. So just a couple sentences there gives some very basic information about the company itself. I'm also talking about the actual kind of product that I'm trying to target on this page of my website. They're digital Geiger counters. So this is not only useful for somebody that's visiting this page, but this also is designed to help with search engine rankings. The more things I can say about this company, relational words that I use, Google knows that this company is associated with Staten Island, New York. They also know about, dates and things like that and kinds of products that are associated with this company. So these all help me to target various types of keyword phrases that people might be searching for relating to this company. But it also helps to kind of center it on what my site's actually going to be about. Since there are a lot of different kinds of products, speech recognition that this company makes, and ultimately it really only looks like this one kind of product would be the only thing useful to people that would be visiting my website. So I don't really want traffic for this company having to do with their other types of products. I just want it centered around their Geiger counters. So after this basic information about the company, I want to go on to talking a little more about this product itself. Now, before I go any further here, I do want to point something out. Sometimes when I build a brand page, it will just focus on a single product, and other times it might focus on multiple products, all from that same brand, but of the same type of product. So for example, I'm wanting to say they had more. I know this company has more than just this one Geiger counter. The question is whether or not they have more than one actually on the Amazon website. It does look like they have a number of different ones that are available on the Amazon site. I don't know if they'll have their full selection that they have on their actual website, but it looks like they do have a number to choose from. So, with that said, going back to my article now, depending on what I think might be the best choice of product for the people that are visiting my site. Also, depending on whether I think there's going to be search engine traffic for more than just one of these product names or not, which is something that I can go and verify. I can go to the Google keyword tool and I can search GCA 07W, GCA 03. I can go through the whole list and search all of these different model numbers, model names of this product for this particular brand. So then I can figure out which of these products are people interested in, which of them are people actually searching for on Google. And that kind of information can change what you actually decide to do with your article. It can also change depending on the amount of information that's available to you. What I mean by that is on the Amazon website here, or even outside of Amazon, like on the manufacturer's own website, the amount of information that I might be able to find for any given product can vary. Sometimes I can find tons of stuff about a product, and other times I might only be able to find a couple of paragraphs worth of information about a product. So depending on the size of the article I'm looking to achieve, I can look at the products that are available to me, the information that's there, what I think people might be searching for, and I can decide whether or not to include just one product or multiple products if I'm doing one of these brand pages. So what I mean by that is if I just wanted to do one product, this top Geiger counter, I would make a little section of information, kind of some header text here that would then help to separate this content about this specific product. So now I can write a couple of paragraphs of content about this product. If this is the only product that I'm going to advertise on this entire page, I might break this down into a number of subtopics and use those as header text. Just as a wild example, I might have a section on resolution. I might have a section on frequencies. Whatever main kind of features that I could kind of pick out that I think people would be interested in, those would kind of be the main features that I would talk about in this article. Now, again, this is really only if you're doing just one product on a whole page, because I'm trying to come up with a 500-word article here. So if I have a little bit of information here about the actual company, then I need 450 words probably that are going to be all about this exact product. So that's going to be a lot more than just a paragraph or two worth of text. So I can have these little pieces of header text to break all that content apart. And then I can write about the product itself. I can write a little bit about its resolution. I can write a little bit about its frequencies, or any other things that I feel like might be relevant to mention here. Well, if I decided to do multiple products on a single brand page, I would just have a new section for each individual product that I wanted to feature. And if I have a phrase like this that I would commonly repeat, like if all of these are going to be Geiger counters, then I won't say it at all. I'll remove that extra content, because otherwise I'll just have Geiger counters over and over again throughout all of my content. And I'll end up kind of keyword spamming that phrase. Same thing can also kind of go with the brand name as well. I don't really want to repeat the brand name over and over and over again if I'm going to be talking about a number of different products from this particular brand. So having a setup like this, I would then write a couple paragraphs about this product, a couple paragraphs about this product, and a couple paragraphs about this product. And altogether, this would give me that 500-word article that I'm looking for. So how you decide to approach this with your own site and with each given article that you're going to be writing is entirely up to you. Just try to look at what's available to you in terms of the number of products, what of those products are actually popular. It's pretty obvious that this is their most popular Geiger counter that they have. And some of the other ones, they have reviews, but nowhere near as many as this one. So just looking at the reviews, I could probably pick out this one fairly safely as being maybe their second most popular Geiger counter. And possibly this one at the top maybe being their third most popular, just based on the number of reviews that are available for it. Not even having to do any kind of keyword research or anything like that. So this would be 07 was the one at the top, 07W, and then 06W. So these three particular products look like they would be their most popular ones. So if I wanted to cover a couple different products on this page, I would go about it this way. So now going back into this product here, I need to learn a little bit about it. If I'm going to just talk about this product, I would talk about a lot of its features and stuff in more detail, as opposed to if I'm going to be doing 3 or 4 different products on this one page, the main thing that I'm going to write about each product will be what is different about it compared to these other models. That way people can easily read through this listing that I have and figure out what's going to be the best thing for them based on what their personal needs are. So just looking at these different products here, it looks like the range and the resolution is the same on all 3 products. This one has an external wand. This one also has an external wand. And this one does not. This one has, looks like an internal tube. So there's one big difference that I can easily pick out. The 07 just has a tube, and these two have wands. So what I'm kind of doing at the moment is just doing some information gathering. I'm learning about these products. I'm trying to figure out what's different, between the various models. And this will help me if I'm just making some notes like this, then I can go back and write something to replace those notes. So I'm just kind of documenting some of the key points here that I think I might want to cover on each of these different devices. It looks like they are all capable of doing charting, maybe. It kind of looks like all of the radiations that can be detected from these are all the same, and they detect them all at the same levels as well. So ultimately, I'm kind of having a bit of an issue finding major differences between some of these products. I might have better luck actually on their website. The O7W says is a personal radiation detector and survey meter. It's used for a wide variety of different purposes. So my question is whether or not some of these other products actually have something different about them. Now, it's quite possible that I might just be looking at different, um, essentially like yearly models of kind of the same product. They might just keep improving this product and calling it something else. It looks like the O7 that I was looking at before is essentially just this product, but without the wand attached to it. So I might not even bother here with talking about different kinds of products. It doesn't look like there are major differences between all of them. And so there's not really a lot that I could tell people that would be useful. I would essentially find myself repeating this same information over and over again for each of these different products. So I think I am just going to stick with the O7W as being the only one that I promote on this particular page, and I'm just going to try to provide as much information as I can about it. Now, since I'm going to be just doing this one type of product for this brand, I do want to try to break this down a little bit more, give people some different sections of content having to do with this product. So I want to talk about radiation detection. I want to talk about the sensitivity levels. And then I also want to talk about their graphing program, I believe would be helpful for people. So this kind of gives me a couple of main things that I can focus on. So now I can try to find out a little information about the radiation detection and write about it, so on and so forth. It gives me just a easier to understand article. It also makes it easier for me to write the article as well. I don't just have to go on paragraph after paragraph trying to figure out what to talk about. I make myself a bit of an outline and then I just write a couple sentences, a couple paragraphs about each of these different topics. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and answer this question here. Mal's asking, would I mention the other products at all? Or would it just distract from a possible sale? It's really situational when I'm creating these pages. I try to ask myself that, do they need, would people that are reading my website, do they need to know about these other choices available to them? Or do I just want to limit them to one choice? What will determine that is just the information that I can find out. Is there a big difference between the different products that are offered from the same brand? Do you think that each product would kind of serve a specific purpose or be right for people in a certain type of situation? If you can identify multiple products and you think they would each be good for a special situation, and you think visitors to your site could potentially be interested in any of those, that's when I'll end up promoting multiple products on one page. For this one, since there didn't look to be much of a difference between the various models, at least not the most popular models that I was looking at, I don't really feel like there would be a big point. If I can't really identify the main differences between a product, it'll be hard to talk about those products on my site in a way that ultimately won't confuse the visitors too. So if I think I can give them some clear direction on whether to go for this product or that product from a brand, depending on what their needs might be, then I'll definitely promote multiple products on a page. For a situation like this, I do think mentioning the other models could end up basically distracting from the sale, just making it more confusing for them to try to figure out which one they would want to pick. And they talked about sensitivity levels on this other page here. Alpha particles above 3, beta radiation above 50, X-ray and gamma above 7. So these would kind of be things that I would talk about under sensitivity levels here. I really don't know much about the different kinds of radiation, honestly. Looks like gamma radiation is kind of the main one, or at least the main one that people are concerned about with this. So obviously I want to talk about this because this is what my website's about. So I'm not only talking about the product, but I'm trying to gear what I'm saying about this product to what my whole website's about. Because I know people are going to be interested in the topics of nuclear fallout and things of that nature when they're landing on these pages, simply because of what my entire website's about. So by giving them specific information that's geared towards them in these articles, it's making it a lot more personal for them, making it a lot more useful for them is the biggest key. Because you want to kind of identify with the visitor. You want them to be reading something that you've written and be like, okay, this person gets what I'm looking for. And they're a lot more likely to follow everything else that you have to say if they can see certain pieces of information that lead them to believe you're on the same page that they're on. So I want to not just talk about this thing being able to detect radiation, but I want to talk about it from the perspective of my website, talking about fallout. Now for sensitivity levels, I know like the radiation resolution and range, accounting resolution, and then the sensitivity of the actual detector in terms of the particles that it can pick up. So basically this information here is kind of what I am looking to portray here under sensitivity levels. Now, ultimately, I don't really understand the radiation resolution and counting resolution features here. Um, Unless I can kind of find that explained in more layman's terms, I'm not 100% sure really how I want to um, try to portray that information. I might just talk about the certification. I see this being talked about over and over again. Um, it talks about this NRC certification. All right, so I avoided having to talk about the stuff that I didn't really get, and ultimately the things that I don't think the average person looking at this kind of product, unless they already know a lot about this type of product, the average person isn't going to know what that stuff means either. And so this is really more what they're interested in. It's, it's certified, it's accurate, it's passed, these strict government accuracy tests to be able to achieve this certification. So, the numbers don't make a big difference, except for, people that are super, super familiar with this type of product. But they can still get this information on the Amazon website once, they click through from my website. All right, so now that I have this basic information for this article, I want to go back to my website and set up a page for this. Now, for this page, I'm adding the actual product name into the title. This is not something that I always do, though. It's heavily dependent on whether or not I'm going to have more than one product on this page. So with only one product on the page, I will often end up putting the name of the product, the model of the product, something of that nature up here in the title. If I was doing this page and going to have multiple Geiger counters on it from this one brand, I'd probably title it this, just plain and generic, and then I can mention all the specific Geiger counters actually in my article. So now beyond the title, I also customize the permalink. I don't want this to be a really long link, whatever I have decided to title the page. I just want it to be the brand name. Or if I'm not doing brands and I'm just featuring the product, maybe I'll just title it after the actual product or model number or something like this. Since I am featuring the brand here, I'm going to name this after the brand. So I call it Images SI. It's just a short and sweet URL, so you don't have to have something more complicated there, simply. So now that I have my article put in here, the main things that I am looking to do now is just to style this page up a little bit. If I have these different pieces of header text going throughout my article, I'll select them and make them bold. And ultimately, that's the vast majority of the styling that I'm looking to do on these pages. The reason why is because the main styling that I'm going to have on these pages will be my Amazon ads. So I have a plain page, and either in the top left-hand corner or in the top right-hand corner, I will end up putting an Amazon ad on this page. That way, besides the text itself, really the only thing that people can focus on, the only thing people can really click on in this page content will be the actual ad. It'll help to draw their attention to it. So that brings us to the advertising part. To set up the Amazon ads on this site, I'm going to be using the product style plugin. This is my plugin. I will be providing all of you guys with a copy of this on the class materials page, where you can find all the recordings from this series. When you download this plugin, just go up here to add new in plugins, click on upload plugin, browse for the file, and then install it on your website. Once you have it activated, like you see here, you will find a product style link in the sidebar of your WordPress site. Now, initially, you have to do a little bit of setup for this plugin before you can start using it. So that's what all of this is. There's just a setup process that you need to proceed through. So what affiliate network do you want to use? I choose Amazon. I continue. I'm just going to use one Amazon website for this product, for this site especially, because it's electronic-based products, a lot of them. They're not going to work. They're not going to be available to be sold even outside of the country. And so I'm just going to be focusing on Amazon.com. This is typically what I will do with 99% of websites, unless there's a real reason, unless you know only half of my traffic's coming from the US and the other half is coming from another country that Amazon specifically has a site for. It's really the only situation where I'm going to want to use more than one Amazon site. Now, once you get here, you just provide your affiliate information. You provide your associate ID, and then in the next step, you will be providing your API keys. As I mentioned before, if you do not have your API keys already, then you're not going to be able to use this plugin right now, unfortunately. However, there is still a way that you can manually create these Amazon ads without using this plugin, and I'll be walking you through that after I go through some of this stuff with the product style plugin to start with. Here is the API key section. You just provide your API key and your API secret key in these boxes before proceeding on. I have to kind of cut this part out of my video though, because I can't share those keys with everybody through this video. And then finally, you just choose the type of Amazon ads that you want to use. I recommend just sticking with the direct standard affiliate links unless you have a really good reason to use one of the other options. So after doing all this, the plugin setup is complete. I can go on to this Auto Amazon page now and begin searching for products. So the whole point of this section you simply punch in the name of a product or keyword, you search for it, and then you'll get the listings of those products down below. So you're just trying to find the same product that you are looking at on the Amazon website. That way you know which one you want to promote. You can click on this product page link here, and it'll take you to the actual Amazon website for that product so you can verify that that is indeed the one you want. So this is the product that I am looking for. So I'm going to click on this and begin to create an ad for it. So to start with, if this is the first ad I'm creating in this plugin on this particular website, I'm not going to have any categories available here except for the fast ads category, but I don't want to use that. I want to create a new category that I can use. I'll just call this one Geiger counters. On this site, I will end up having a couple of different kinds of products, and so I can create different categories for each of those different kinds of products. You don't have to have a different category for every kind of product though. The reason why these categories are even used is for comparison charts. If you want to create a comparison chart with this plugin to compare multiple products within the same chart, all of those products that you want to compare need to all be grouped into the same plugin category through here. So that's really what this is all about. If you're not going to use comparison charts, you can just create one category and put all of the product ads that you create inside of that. So now I choose the information that I want to show up with this product. If I wanted to show what the price of the product is, I just click on the price. You can choose multiple things here. You can reorder how this information will show up in your ad. Whatever's on top will be showing up higher up on the ad. I'm not going to show any of this information with my ad though. I actually prefer to do something pretty basic most of the times with the ads that I create. I'm just looking to have a picture of the product, the name of the product, and a buy now button. So to do this, I'm going to choose the buy now button down here at the bottom. I'm not going to choose any of the product information up above, and I'm going to choose this ad only ad style. Everything else is really just going to be a bit of customization. Um, I don't want a huge product title like what you see here. I want to shorten this down. I'll either call it just by the model name or the product name. Sometimes I might add on a short amount of descriptive text, but you really don't want this product title to be very big. And then just go ahead and replace it in all three of those text boxes. Once I have done all this, I'm going to go down and click on Create Ad. And this creates the ad successfully on my site. Now, the ad is not actually live on my site yet, though. I have to go in and edit this page, choose where I want the advertisement to show up. So I'm just going to click in the text where I want my ad to be, and then I'm going to click on this PS icon at the top. And I'm going to find the ad that I created and insert this into my page. So now, if I update this page and go and view it, then I will actually have an ad showing up. So here's the basic thing that I'm looking to achieve. However, I like to customize the way my ads look. I typically try not to make them stand out from the rest of my website too much. I want them to look like they belong there. One of the easiest ways that I have to do this is by editing the styles. I'm going to go into Product Style and Styles. And any of these ad styles that are created in the system, I can edit them. So I'm using the add only style. So that's the one I'm going to edit. I'm actually going to get rid of all of these borders. I just changed the border width settings on all three of these to a 0. I get rid of the rounded corners. I get rid of the hover effects. And then on these background colors, I make it all white. And white is all Fs. It's 6 Fs. You can also choose your own color through the color wheel if you want to, but I just use the actual codes when I do it. It can be done either way though. Everything else, the size of the ads, whether the ad box is floating on the left or the right hand side of my page, those things can also be changed in these ad display settings. So I'm going to save that style. Once I save it, I still have to publish it before those changes take place. Even though I saved my style here, if I go back to this page and I refresh this, you can see that it didn't change anything. So what's going to change it is when I publish the style. Since I'm not using any of these other ad styles though, I'm going to get rid of them. And I'm just going to publish the one that I'm using, the add only style. You can see it's actually grayed out. I can't unselect it because an ad is already using this ad style. And if it's not selected and published, then it'll break the ad. So it prevents you from being able to remove the ad styles that are actively in use on your site. So after I publish this style change and then go back to take a look at my site, now my advertisement has changed according to my design. You can see it's a lot cleaner looking. I don't have the border and the background and all that other stuff. It's just a plain advertisement. Now, ultimately, this is really what I am looking to do if I do not have access to this plugin. If I need to manually create my own advertisement, I'm going to be looking to create what I have highlighted here. I won't have the buy now button, but that's okay. Just the image and the name of the product, and then all of this gets linked to the product on Amazon using our affiliate ID. So I'm going to show you that in just a couple minutes here. one or two more things I want to point out real quick before I proceed. Sometimes you'll want to change where this advertisement is displayed. Once you have it um, pasted into your page, you can just move it wherever you want it to show up. Just look for the brackets surrounding AMZPS, ID, and then there will be a different number in here for each of the different ads. Wherever this shows up is where your ad will display on your site. So if I move it up to the top of my page here, it'll be up here and not a little bit further down next to this text where it was previously. There are also some cases where if I'm promoting multiple products on this page, I want to show you how this works with the advertisements. Let's pretend each of these different sections of text that I've done, that each one is for a different product. And so I'm going to promote 4 products on this page. I would have, like it shows here, the ad off to the left of each relevant product that was going to be on this site. But you'll notice when I update this page and go and take a look at it, it's not going to look right. All of my ads are cascading down the page like this. The reason why this happens is because this particular ad style, with it floating on the left or the right hand side of the page, it's intended to be more of something that kind of sits right beside each other. And what I mean by that is, see how I have 4 ads? I put them all right next to each other here. This is really more kind of the intended purpose of this ad style. But it doesn't mean that you can't use it in other ways. You just have to make a few changes to be able to do so. So what I will do is to come up with a way to have all these ads show up and look correctly, to be separate on this page. I don't want it to cascade across the page like it's doing now. I want each ad to be on the far left-hand side of the page with the relevant paragraph of information out to the right of it. So to achieve this, I need to tell this page that every time it finishes one of these paragraphs, so like right at the bottom of each of these paragraphs, I need to tell it to start over on a new line, or else it's going to keep trying to wrap these ads next to each other like it was doing originally. How I showed you the intended purpose of these ads was really. So to do this, I need a little bit of code. This is probably the one part of the whole class where there's not a generator or anything to go with this. You've seen this code before when I do the menu generators. This code is printed on the bottom of, I believe it's the homepage menu generator. It's just a div tag with some CSS put into that div tag to clear both. This is clearing the floats. So by just having this here and updating my page, it's going to drop after this paragraph here, it'll drop the next one down to its own line. So you can see this first and second one show up correctly now. The other ones still need to be corrected. So I have to keep taking this and putting it below each of my paragraphs of text. So once I do this and update my page again, now each of my ads will actually be on the left-hand side of the page where they're supposed to be. Now this kind of creates another problem, at least some of the time. It's dependent upon how much content you have for that product. As you can see, since I have only written a paragraph basically to go with each of these sections, it's not really enough information to take up all the space that this product is taking up. So there are a couple of things that I can do to help correct this. Number one, you might notice how the image begins below where the title is at. I can actually scoot this upwards just a little bit more by not making it on the same line as the title. So if I just bump each of these titles down to the line below the advertisement, I should get a better alignment over here. So you can see now that the top of my title and the top of my image, they actually line up correctly now. So that's kind of the first step. The second step is taking care of all of this extra white space. You can obviously write more content. If this was a real page where I was going to promote 4 different products all on the same page, I'd have a lot more than just this one paragraph that I'd be saying. Usually I'll try to write 2 paragraphs that are about the size of these paragraphs. That way, with the second paragraph down below, it kind of takes up enough space. You know, if I could duplicate this right below here, then there really wouldn't be that much white space left overwards. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to write more content about each product, or if you find that 1 or 2 of your products have some of this white space and other ones don't, you can just separate sentences into their own paragraphs. So what I mean by that is where I'm talking about each product, I can take every individual sentence that I have written and make it take its own line. So now I'm creating multiple paragraphs. Now, on a really short paragraph like this, where I only have 2 sentences, it's still not going to be enough. But with a normal article where you have 2 paragraphs for each product, at the very least, it will be plenty of information to take up that space. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have 2 here that are going to look how they're supposed to, and 2 of them that are still going to have a decent amount of white space, just because of a general lack of content. So you can see this gets a little closer. I could still stand to go with another sentence or 2 on that one and also on this one. And then the 2 really short ones, they need, you know, a couple more sentences for them. But hopefully this at least shows you how you can go about splitting your content, promoting a number of different products all on the same page, and having the information line up with the actual advertisement that it's talking about. Now, obviously, I don't have to do all that on this site because I'm not promoting multiple products on this particular page, at least. I might do so on some of the other pages, but at least on this one page, it's just going to be one product. And so I don't need to deal with all of the extra code or even the extra spacing if I don't want to. You can see my spacing that I did for the products now looks a little weird once all those images are gone. So you're really just looking to add these advertisements to your page, to the product pages, to the brand pages of your site. And then you want to just try to modify the text to get it to look as good as possible to go with the ad or multiple ads that you might be trying to show on that given page. So now the question is, if you can't use this plugin the product style plugin that I provide for you to create your Amazon ads, how can you still do something just like this, but having to manually create it yourself? When you go to the Amazon website, there are a number of different ways that you can create advertisements or create affiliate links. When you're signed into your affiliate account, you'll have this site stripe bar across the top, and you can use that to pretty easily generate a text link or an image link for a product. You can also take the information that's up here in the URL. You can copy the entire URL and just add one extra piece of information to it. All the way on the end, just add an ampersand, put the word tag, put an equal symbol, and then put your affiliate ID. And that will ensure that you get credit when somebody clicks on that link. So affiliate ID goes on the end here. So this is how you manually create an affiliate link for an Amazon product. You can even do this for any page on Amazon. For example, let's say for some reason I wanted to direct people to not just one product page. Maybe I want to show them this entire page of search results from this particular company. Again, I could just take this URL and on the very end of it, add tag, and tag is equal to, and then put my affiliate ID onto the end of it. And then when I send people to that link, I would get credit for any sales that originate through that. So beyond the affiliate link, the other part is actually just creating the ad itself. On my site, I have an image and I have the name or the title for the product. Remember, these are the two parts that I told you I would create when I was just making a manual advertisement. So to reproduce this, I need an image and I need some text. Well, the image obviously is going to come from Amazon. I want to go to the image and I want to copy the image location. This is going to give me the URL for that image. So now I have this URL and this will display the image that I was just showing you. So now I just want to turn all of this into a link. This here, my image, I can do this in a way that really doesn't require HTML coding. I'm going to copy that image URL and I'm going to click on image here and enter in the URL for that image. I don't necessarily have to use a description. I'll just click cancel for that. So that generates an image tag for me. This is what will actually make that image show up on my website. Beyond that image, I just want the name of the product. So this will be GCA 07W, and I'll add the descriptive phrase Geiger counter onto the end of it. So my text link here, the actual URL that I want people to visit, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to select everything that I want to be a part of this advertisement, and then I'm going to click on link here. I'm going to paste my link into this URL box. I'm going to tell it to open in a new tab so people don't lose my website if they go and visit one of these Amazon links. And The other main thing I'm going to want to do here is just add in a line break between the image and the name of the product. Just use a greater than symbol followed by the letters BR followed by a less than symbol. This is a line break in HTML coding. So this will force the image and the name of the product to be on separate lines. So at this point, I should be fairly set. It's not going to look quite the same. I believe this is going to be a very large advertisement when I show this to you. But that's okay. I want to show you how it's going to come out naturally, so then I can show you how to make some adjustments to it. So I can see the linked up Geiger counter text here that I created. And then I have the image that I created here, which is also linked. Both of these, again, using my affiliate link that I have manually created. So if I want this to look more like this kind of an advertisement, I just need to change the actual image. I need this image to be smaller. Now you can download a smaller image. For example, I could just take this particular image, which is obviously smaller, but if you limit yourself to just the images and the sizes that are available on the Amazon website, you probably still won't get the look you're going for. This is still a pretty large image compared to what I was doing before down here. So one of the things that you can do is restrict the size of this. So what I'm doing is I'm wrapping this whole thing in another div tag, and I'm restricting the size of this div tag. And I'm also making it float on the left-hand side of the page. This gives me more of the look that I had achieved before. So just to clean all this up for you a little bit, for anybody that does not have their API keys and cannot use the product style plugin yet to create their ads, this is how I would recommend going about creating them. So this div tag that I wrapped, you can see there's a closing div tag on the end here and the opening tag. And then I give it some style where I make the width to be 200 pixels. So if you wanted it bigger or smaller than that, you can just change that number. And then float left makes it on the left-hand side of my page, so the text can actually be next to it and not down on the next line. So removing my old product style ad now and just showing this particular ad, you can see what this achieves. Now there's plenty more coding and stuff that could go into this to style it up a little bit more. If you want a little bit of space between the ad and the text, you can add a padding, like I'm adding a 10 pixel padding to this div tag here. I refresh my page and it creates a little more space around the actual advertisement. So I've done the same thing here that I achieved with the product style plugin, but I've done it all manually. And hopefully this is not something that many of you will have to deal with. But for any brand new Amazon affiliates, you will not be able to get your API keys yet until you have referred 3 sales and also then gotten Amazon to finalize your approval as an affiliate after those 3 sales. So if you can't get your API keys, this is how you can go about creating an advertisement. Whether or not you include the call to action, Mal's asking about this. The buy now button that I had there before, whether or not you include a buy now button below your advertisement, it's really entirely up to you. On some websites, I find it to be helpful if it's pretty obvious that your website is, trying to sell a product or refer a sale on a product. Sometimes the buy now button isn't entirely necessary because it's kind of implied. Usually with a buy now button, you'll get less clicks on that advertisement. But the benefit of that is you typically end up with a higher conversion rate. When people click on an ad that has a buy now call to action on it, it's obvious that they're going to be buying that product by visiting that link. When you don't have that buy now button, a lot more people will click the link, but some people will be kind of blindsided by the fact that that link will then take them to the Amazon website to try to buy that product. And so you usually end up with lower conversion rates without the call to action. But with the increased amount of clicks, it usually ends up coming out about the same, just from tests that I have done. So it's kind of a matter of personal opinion whether or not you want a buy now button, and also determine whether you think it's kind of implied on your page that you're promoting this product or trying to refer a sale on this product. If it's obvious, I think the buy now button is not as important. So what you're wanting to do with your own site is to continue this same process that I have showed you here today. Create an Amazon ad for each of the products that you want to promote on your website and put those ads on your website in the relevant area. Once you've gone through all of your product pages and added the relevant Amazon ads to them, as long as you've completed all of the other articles and portions of this training series up through now, adding these ads will be the final piece to completing your website. Everything else that comes after this will be extra marketing to try to drive more traffic to the site, or long-term maintenance that isn't necessarily required, but it's recommended. You need to kind of keep an eye on these sites every few months, once or twice a year. You go back and you look at these sites, you take a look at the stats, and you use that information to determine whether or not to make changes on the site. So these things we will be talking about in the last couple of classes of this series that will be coming after this class. For now, in your own training, just try to get your Amazon ads created and put in place on your site, and then you'll have a completed website. At the very, very least, by doing everything that I've taught up through this point in the training series, you can build complete, successful Amazon websites by just creating a lot of really high quality content on your site and properly targeting keyword phrases. You can get Google traffic just with building the actual website with zero marketing whatsoever. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that traffic to begin coming in, but this is kind of the bare minimum that has to be done on an Amazon site for it to be successful. The extra marketing things that I'll be teaching you next, I consider to be completely optional because they're not required to make the site successful. It's just something that's used to get more traffic to the site than you're ordinarily able to just from search engine traffic. Mal is asking about what about building these Amazon sites into an authority site? Um, I can mention a few things about this now. I'll be touching on this a little bit more in the last class or last two classes or so of this series. Um, what I teach with these Amazon sites, building this 20-page website, it can be left at that. I have quite a few that I have made that I've never done anything more than just creating these initial 20 pages and putting the website up there. However, when you're keeping an eye on these sites long term, 6 months or a year after you build an Amazon site, you go back and you take a look at how it's performing on Amazon, how it's performing in the Google search rankings. When I can identify a website that is performing extremely well, especially in the Google search engine rankings, if I'm getting a lot of traffic from them over a lot of different kinds of keyword phrases relating to my site, it's a pretty good indication that Google likes what I'm doing. And so I'll wait for that kind of vindication, I guess, that I can see Google likes this website and they're like what I'm doing with it. So then I ask myself, what else could I do with that website? What additional topics could I try to cover on that website that wouldn't dilute the meaning of the entire website? On the Fallout site that I'm building, for example, if this site gets really popular and it's got great search rankings, I could, instead of having just 4 pages on Geiger counters, I could go through even more brands and more products for these Geiger counters and create additional pages to try to target even more brands and product names and keyword phrases. The same thing can also kind of be done on your individual brand pages too. The page that I just created for Images SI and the one Geiger counter for them that I decided to promote. If 6 months from now I see that that page has really great search rankings, if I'm ranking for Images SI related keywords having to do with Geiger counters, if I'm getting traffic off of the one model name or model number that I'm already promoting there, then I'd be a lot more likely to want to go back and expand that page. So if this page gets really popular, then I might say, okay, maybe I will add on an ad for each of these other different models of Geiger counters that I can find from this brand, if I believe people are going to be searching for them. Because if I build a page on Google that already gets good rankings for one of these brands or for one of these types of products from this brand, and then I just expand into covering even more products from that same brand on that same page, there's a pretty good likelihood that I'll be able to get even more search engine rankings from that one specific page. So That's really what I am thinking of in terms of turning an Amazon site into more of an authority site. It's definitely worthwhile to do, but don't do it blindly. Make sure you have some Google information, some Amazon stats to back up what you're thinking about doing in terms of an expansion. So you can create a number of these different 20-page websites, and then 6 months or a year later go back and say, okay, which one of these sites that I built last year, which one's doing the best? Which one has the most search rankings and is bringing me the most traffic? Which one's actually converting traffic into sales? Then I might single out that website and put more focus on it and try to build it out more to make it more of an authority type of website. So I think it's a great idea. Um, but I try to do expansions with some kind of data to back it up, basically. If I filled the whole page with one product, like what I did for this Geiger counter page, I would just add on to the page. For example, like this whole section here is really about this one product. So I could just write more new paragraphs of content down on the bottom of this page, keep adding additional product names and advertisements and additional content for those products as well. So I could expand this page and cover every different Geiger counter that this brand offers. If I was going to do that, the one change I might make would just be the title. I'd probably wipe out this from the title and just change this to Geiger counters. Then I would have a listing. I've done this on other sites. Down comforter guide on the IKEA page, especially. This page didn't used to be this big when I first built this website. But of all the pages on the entire website, the IKEA down comforters page was the one page that was getting by far the most traffic. And so I said, okay, how can I expand this page and rank for even more keywords than I was ranking on previously? So I took, this used to be roughly a 500 word page, and I expanded it out to, I want to say it's maybe around 2,000 words or something like that now. And it did the trick. It gets traffic on not just the original keywords that it used to get traffic for, but also new keywords, new product names. Originally, this page actually just used to promote the discontinued products, but they didn't used to be discontinued when this site was first created. So when they got discontinued, my sales dropped off on this site, and I went back through and did some updates. Found the new products that they were replaced with, put ads there. I even still left, when possible, ads for the old products. Sometimes you can find this particular comforter still on the Amazon website. All the other ones, they're not easy to find anymore, but it targeted more keyword phrases for me. I get traffic off of pretty much any of these different product names for these different kinds of IKEA down comforters. Any changes that you make to a page can certainly affect the rankings. A page like this, removing this title could affect the ranking for keyword phrases that involved this uh, product name or whatever. But ultimately, as long as any keyword you remove from the title, if it's still found elsewhere on the page and you have decent content, um, it's not going to really make a big difference if it's in the title. In fact, like on this IKEA page, the title is only IKEA down comforters. I don't mention any of these product names anywhere in my title. And yet I have search rankings on all these different product names. So it didn't originally, used to be like that. It got changed over time. Um, and drastically changing the content can negatively affect the rankings. So you want to make sure any expansions that you do, they still stay on topic. That's the most important thing. Um, it's hard to say, Mal, what the entire Down Comforter site would be worth selling it. Usually, just a general rule of thumb, um, for websites, you look at what a site is able to make. Typically, it's pretty easy to find somebody that will pay 18 months worth of your site's revenue for the actual website itself. So if you get a site that's making $100 a month, you can fairly easily turn around and sell it for $2,000 or so. There are people that will pay more. There are people that are looking to pay less than that 18-month kind of mark, but that's kind of just a business standard. I've been able to sell quite a few Amazon websites before for about 30 to 36 months worth of revenue. So effectively doubling what they can be sold for. Um, it really just depends though on, you know, who you're trying to sell the site to, where you're trying to sell it. If you're selling it on Flippa, for example, you probably won't get more than about 20 times the monthly revenue when you sell a site. Privately, you can sometimes go higher than that. Well, I believe I have covered all the questions that have been asked so far. If you do have something else you want to ask me, please get it in the chat box for me.